Hi, welcome back. I'm Chava, the Clarity Coach, and I'm here with my friend Malkie the Mindset Maven. And in honor of the holiday of Purim, which is when this video is going live, I'm having a special guest episode. And I brought Malkie on to talk because we do a lot of work together, coaching and running workshops, all about how celebration can make your life better. So in honor of the holiday, and specifically the holiday, which is all about doing ridiculous, wacky things that are supposed to get us out of our everyday mindset and have more fun. I thought that it would be fun to just riff on happiness, celebration, how they're good for us, and anything else that comes up. So welcome to my experimental podcast.
This is it's really exciting to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being had. I've been looking forward to this. So why is it important that we celebrate things?
Wow, because you have to take yourself out of the ordinary world every so often, right? Okay, so let me go back a little bit because I just realized I just jumped like neck deep into what was it? Okay, you'll remember the name of the author. He did the Thousand Faces, the hero with a
Joseph Campbell. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You bring in the numbers and I'll
okay.
I'll keep supplying authors.
So, right, and he describes that one of the first things that the hero needs to do is to get out of the ordinary world. And days of celebration, that's exactly what they do. They pull us out of the humdrum, everyday survive to exist world to make us stop and focus and take a look around and go, wow, we've got a lot to be grateful for. And that's, like I know that in the US, there's this big focus on gratitude around Thanksgiving, but the fact is that it's every single day. But sometimes you need a special day to just stop and, hey, notice it.
It makes it sound kind of like doing morning meditation or a gratitude practice, but over the course of a year.
Exactly, but this is different because it's communal. It's the entire community going. Like that's the difference between something that's private and something that's public, is that when you've got a holiday, it's a public, everybody's in it, or at least everybody in that dominant culture is in it, kind of a practice. And I think that there's something just really amazing about coming together as a community, which is really like exactly what this holiday is all about. Like the upcoming holiday of Purim is so much about community, and it's about like what are the most amazing ways to build community, right? Send your neighbor, hey, like bring your neighbor, some fresh baked cookies, right? Fastest way to get to know your neighbor, right?
For sure.
Have a meal with the people that you love. All of these things, and then go over the history of what brought you all together, right? And in a nutshell, that's what the Purim holiday celebration is all about. But I think that this is something that anybody can do.
Absolutely. The communal aspect of it, what that brings in, from a Chinese perspective, from a Chinese medicine perspective, it brings in the element of fire. It brings in that fire energy, that community, that coming together, being part of something larger than ourselves, as opposed to if I'm sitting home alone meditating, I'm getting into the water, I'm connecting to myself, my inner world, maybe my emotions, my feelings. But when you're coming together as a community, it's kind of the opposite. It's a turning outwards, and it's becoming part of something greater than ourselves.
So what you're saying is that the context of your action matters for which energy you're bringing up for yourself.
For sure. For sure.
Can you tell me more about that?
I'm trying to think now of different contexts. Okay. What sort of different contexts do we have in life?
Family,
Okay, well, how about this? If there's a project that I'm really excited about, that I'm, you could say, intrinsically motivated to do, and I want to get it done. Or there's a project at work that I've been assigned and I have a deadline and I have to get it done by that deadline. I might take the exact same actions and I might get the tasks done in the same amount of time. But if I'm being driven by my desire to grow and to make progress or to develop my skills, then that's the wood energy. Whereas if I'm using my sense of conscientiousness and my desire to be a good worker, and then I'm using my metal energy. But if I'm being driven to help my team because I don't want to leave them in the lurch, and I really don't care about the specific task, but I care about the people who will have to do it if I don't, then that could be the earth energy. Yeah.
So basically, okay, so your motivation matters for what energy that you pull out, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
That's
Well, our
really
energies, yeah, the energy, each energy basically provides a different form of motivation or a different emotion that motivates us.
okay. So then tell me, if I can,
Mhm.
how do the different energies celebrate?
How do the different, oh, wow. Okay. I could be evil and say define celebration,
Ah,
but
no, you can't. No, I'm not letting you. Come on, you know exactly what I'm
okay.
talking about.
Okay. So the wood energy is all about growth. It's all about creativity. It's all about um, becoming something that's bigger and better. That wood, when we say wood, we mean like trees and plants. They all grow up towards heaven. They grow towards the sun. They're always reaching and striving. And so wood would celebrate by doing something active and outward and upward. So I'm thinking your daughter sent me a video from dance class where she did this leap,
Oh, wow, yes.
and that would be wood.
Oh, she sent it to you? Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. A
yeah,
no-handed cartwheel is amazing.
yeah. But that motion, that striving and reaching and motion and forwards and progress, like that was a beautiful expression of wood. Fire would celebrate by getting together with people and doing something like a story circle or choir singing or folk dancing, something that involves taking us out of our individual selves and helping us become part of the larger unit of humanity that we belong to. Or it could be or it could be
Nothing to see here.
something,
Move along.
no, just being a working mom.
Yep.
Yep. So fire could also be something like an ecstatic religious experience where where someone, and I have never had this myself, I'd love to, or maybe not, but where people feel like they've come out of their body and they've become one with the world, they've become one with God, or or with the universal spirit. That would be fire.
Someday I'm going to ask you to have the conversation, which I'm totally not qualified to have,
Uh-huh.
about psychedelics and these energies.
Yeah, I would be I have never done illegal drugs or really legal drugs. My parents were very opposed to like aspirin and Tylenol. I have never, I nearly failed a security clearance in the military because they said, "You've never smoked pot?" And I went, "No." And they went, "Have you ever been at a party where someone smoked pot?" And I went, "No." And they go, "Have you ever been walking along the beach and seen someone smoking pot?" And I went, "Well, if so, I wouldn't know that's what they were doing." So fortunately, they were eventually convinced that I was just that like a nice, stupid
Sheltered.
girl.
Yeah.
So I have now been at a party where everyone else smoked pot, but there was no pressure when I said no. But if I had the chance to experience a legal and appropriately therapeutically supported psychedelic experience, I would love to try it because I have a lot of questions.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm concerned about like the side effects, so I'm just gonna sit over here while
Oh yeah, well,
hear about these amazing experiences that are just, I don't know. But
yeah, and 1 in 10 people has a really, really awful experience, which,
and I'm gonna be that person, so that's
well,
not
no, well, so for me, that's why the importance of it being legal, because one of the things that it looks like is like that the feelings you come in with get magnified. So if you're coming in stressed about what might happen, that, yeah, so
okay.
you're still not a great candidate.
Again, I don't know about any of this stuff, but it's just like the conversations that I've heard around it make me wonder if would it magnify your own energy or would it bring in a different
So,
energy?
okay, so it was what it appears to do, and I'm basing this on a conversation I heard about what effect it has on what long-term effect psychedelic, not just psychedelic use, but religious experiences as a result of psychedelic use have on the big 5 personality traits. It does have a long-term effect on those, and you can match the big 5 personality traits up to the 5 energies, pretty much like basically 1-to-1. And so what it appears to do would be to, yes, increase your connection to your inner fire, but
Interesting.
for the long term.
Wow. Okay, so let's
So that was
let's
a huge sign.
wow. Yes, this is totally expected. Like anyone who's been around us long enough knows that.
Yes,
Yes, we got to psychedelics. Of course we did.
we did.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, not where I expected this to go, but cool. Back
Back
to
to
celebrating
celebration.
energies, celebrating energies. Okay,
Yes.
Earth. Earth would probably celebrate by getting the whole family together and making sure everyone has something to eat. It's something like good and celebratory.
Yes.
Yeah. Metal is conscientiousness in the big 5. Metal is like the quiet satisfaction of a job well done, maybe, but or mindfulness. Okay, what metal is in terms of motivating emotions is metal is appreciation and gratitude. So how would you celebrate
Appreciate.
that?
I think that you let it go to your toes.
So I think it'd be something like mindfulness, like sitting in the moment. Yeah. Metal is discernment. Metal is what we call in Hebrew binah, like the wisdom of distinguishing between things. Yeah.
So basically metal doesn't get to celebrate. Metal just gets to sit back and go, that was good. Which I guess is its own form of celebration, just not necessarily one that I would connect to.
Not one that you would connect to.
Strangely enough.
Yes.
Strangely.
You have some metal.
Very, very little in passing.
And then water. Water is all about water is about everything that's subconscious, unconscious, preconscious. And so water is our instincts, our drives, connection to our ancestors, our DNA, our genes. And so I think that maybe water celebrating would be something like looking at your baby for the first time. Like a feeling that you can't describe and can't share, but that you feel at such a deep level.
Right. I think that you're describing joy, like the very definition of joy as opposed to happiness.
Right? So I've never had a conversation that sufficiently broke down.
Okay, so
what
this
everyone
is
called each. But
right, so this is something I'm pulling out of my time in Dr. Gordon Neufield's orbit, where joy is it's just a very, very deep experience, and it's you can't hold on to it at all. Right.
So this would be, yeah. So this, so it sounds kind of like the water and the fire almost sound like they're coming together here, but the difference is that the fire connects between people across space, but in the same time. So a fire celebration connects me and you, or me and my neighbors. but a water celebration would be connecting me with my ancestors and my descendants. It would be a timeless unity.
Which brings us right back to one of the
Right.
aspects of the Purim holiday, which is that's exactly what it does. This miracle happened, and we are still celebrating this miracle. It's been what, 2,500 years?
We're also still fasting, because if you think about
Right.
it, so in the Purim, for anyone who is not familiar with the book of Esther, before, I'm assuming that you have some vague passing familiarity with the Bible if you're watching this, but if not, you can Google. So before Esther goes to the king to tell her, by the way, I'm Jewish and you've just decided, decreed to kill my entire family, but she's breaking the king's law by entering the throne room without being called, and technically she's supposed to be executed for that. She tells all of the Jews in the city, that's all the people she can contact in a reasonable amount of time, to pray and fast for 3 days to support her, or to give her spiritual energy, or to build up a merit that will stand by her side. And we fast with them.
Yes.
Right? We fast the day before Purim, and we're fasting with them. We're fasting for Esther.
Yes. Today, still.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the water element of holidays, is that it's
the timelessness.
Like, back to Thanksgiving, although to bring it back, I'm just thinking about all of the holidays that I'm familiar with. There's an element of bringing whatever community that celebrates it back in time to when it began.
Well, the Hebrew word for holiday is from the same root as the word for the hand of a clock. And the idea is that, right, time can be pictured as a straight line, but it can also be pictured as a circle. And when time is, and we look at time as a circle, every year we come back around to the same point.
Right. Although clocks are way more recent than holiday.
Yeah, but the clock, it's the same root. The root means to move in a circle.
Yeah. It's a really fascinating perception of time.
Yeah.
Okay. So the different energies all have, when they think celebration, they're all going to have kind of a different picture in their mind in terms of, do they connect to themselves? Do they connect to each other? Do they connect to the past? Or do they just sit back and go, good?
Yep. And if they're connecting to other people, are they connecting to other people in there's different levels of connecting to other people. So an earth element would be connecting to my family, the people I'm responsible for, the people that I have to feed, the people who are part of inside the little borders of my home, whereas the fire wants to connect to everyone.
To the human race. That explains a lot, yes. The people who think like one world government is a good idea, those are the fire people. Okay.
There's a podcast I listen to. I love it. It's called Lingthusiasm, for people who are enthusiastic about linguistics. And so one of their earliest episodes were like, so there's some people who think that if everyone spoke the same language, there would be no more conflict or war. We can only assume that they are only children.
Right. Yes.
Misunderstandings, not the only cause of conflict.
Yes. That's unfortunately very, very true, and all too timely considering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize I was going there.
Well, it is what it is. This is the time we live in, and there's the difficulty of today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me more about celebration in the Chinese tradition.
Okay, so there I don't know very much. I don't know. My study was very focused on on Chinese medicine and the philosophy that's related to helping people be better and live better, which does not necessarily have a lot to do with what people actually do. Excuse me, like throughout history, right? There's people sitting. There's like people sitting in their ivory towers, going, "Oh, well, it's obviously healthy if you eat at exactly these times of day and sleep 7.5 hours." And then there's like peasants out there, you know,
Actually
sleeping when they
living
can. And
real life,
yeah, so I don't know nothing about Chinese culture. My sister actually has gotten into reading Chinese romance novels translated into English, and I am surprisingly good at guessing the plot twists. I remember she started coming up to me and being like, okay, so the emperor has also been poisoned. We don't know if it's the same people who poisoned the empress, and blah 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 blah. And the first time like she did this to me, I was like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the queen does die, but she comes back as a ghost and manages the emperor's life form and picks out his new wife. And I was right. So
wow.
so I've picked up like some aspects, evidently. So I know, right. So I don't know very much about like what actual people living in China do for celebrating. I know that there's generally food involved. I know that some of the aspects of celebration involve warding off the evil spirits or the hungry ghosts that will be attracted if there's good save, if there's too much. I don't know what exactly attracts them. I know that the ghosts are hungry, and so they come for feasts, and they come when there's
okay. And get paper food, if I recall.
Yeah, yeah. And you burn food and money also. Like you kill it by burning it, and then it.
Right.
Yeah. But I do know how you get hungry ghosts.
Oh, how do you get hungry ghosts?
Okay, so the human.
We're here.
Yes. So okay, so in a human body, there are 5 different spirits according to the Chinese system. Plants, I think, have 2. Animals have 3. It's kind of like the Jewish, right, where there's like the vegetable soul.
All
the
different kinds of souls. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's 5 different spirits, one for each of the energies. And so you have the Hun. I'm going to totally mispronounce these because I was taught them by an Israeli who learned them from an Englishman, who learned them from a Dutchman, who learned them from a Vietnamese man, who learned them from China.
Recipe for fish just like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I have a recipe for curried chickpeas just like that. Yes. It was probably Indian at some point, but okay.
Yeah, and then it got to me and I like halved the oil. Because I'm American, or at least in that way I'm American.
Right. Yeah. And maybe we won't eat all the oil just to keep warm through the winter.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna horribly mispronounce these, but starting with the wood, there's the Hun, which is the imagination. It's the spirit that drives us forward, that dreams, that imagines. It is okay. I'm gonna take a step back. Sorry. We start with one spirit. So when the DNA combines, when the sperm meets the egg, whenever you get the step to the level of having a person, then part of the universal heavenly spirit comes down and it joins the physical matter. If that doesn't happen, then you don't have a viable pregnancy. Right? It's just if the DNA can't hold, if it's it doesn't make a combination that's strong enough to hold the spirit. So the universal spirit comes down. The universal spirit is like the metaphor I was given. It's like white light, and you take the white light and you shine it through each body, like each body is a prism. Each set of DNA is like the prism you shine the light through. So we all have the universal spirit, but everyone forms a different rainbow.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's so beautiful.
I know. That's one of my favorite things I ever learned at acupuncture school. So that universal spirit becomes within us the fire spirit, which is like, that's the human aspect. That's love and clarity and connection and the drive to be good and to do good. And then each of the other energies kind of colors the spirit in its own way. So the wood, the Hun spirit, it's always striving to reach the fire, just like trees always strive to reach the sun. And so our imagination, our drive to make progress and to grow and to develop is all trying to push us closer to the universal spirit. Then we have the earth, the earth spirit. The yi is the intellect. It's connected to the earth because the earth element is all about nourishing and digesting and feeding. And our intellect is seen as like something that takes in information and digests it and produces thoughts. So that the intellect dies when the body dies. Once there's no more brain, there's no more intellect. The fire spirit, the Shen, the heavenly spirit, goes back to heaven, and the imagination and the more personal side of us follows the heavenly spirit back to heaven. So those two go up. And that adds to the universal spirit, like some aspect of our dream and our drives is eternal. But the intellect dies with the body. And then the water spirit is, again, it's all about instincts, and it's all about, it's basically about sex and death. It's about survival, but it's about not personal survival of this body, but survival of my DNA. So it's our fear instinct, it's our willpower, it's what pushes us to overcome unbearable things. It's what drives us to reproduce and to, not the day-to-day caring of children, but it's what drives people to throw themselves over their children when they hear an explosion or something. Right. That's the survival instinct of the genes. And then there's the Po, which is the metal instinct, the metal spirit, and that is about survival of this body. And so that's eating and finding a safe place to sleep and running away from predators, and so that spirit is also supposed to die with the body, like the water spirit and like the earth spirit. But because it's all about survival, if you don't do the right rituals, or if someone is left with the feeling of an incompleted task or mission, then the survival drive of the metal spirit might be so strong that it escapes the body, and then it becomes a hungry ghost, because it can't digest, it can't think, it has none of the other aspects of humanity except the drive to survive and to do things. Hi, Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, hold on one second. Let's invite her into the podcast.
Yeah.
She wants to say hello.
Hi, Pepper. Yeah, this is the first time that someone else's pet has popped up before mine. Hey.
Yes.
Does she see me? Does she see screens?
I don't know if she cares about screens.
Okay.
She does, however, care about dinner.
Right.
And I suspect that that's actually why she's here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
how's your editing skills? Because I can just ask the kids to her portion already.
I don't know if I can edit that out, but you can take a minute and.
Okay.
I can edit the beginning and the end, but I'm not sure about the middle. Okay,
then hold on half a second. This is so awkward. How about you keep telling the audience about what's going on, and then we'll figure it out when I get back.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, Lord, going with the flow. All right, so the reason actually that I originally thought of talking to Malkie about Purim and about celebration, which I have not managed to get around to telling her yet, is that I was kind of thinking about this whole concept, and she's back. So, okay, so I was just telling people that the reason I wanted to talk to you about Purim and celebration, like what sparked my interest in combining these, is that I was looking at all of the traditions related to the holiday of Purim, and I think they match up pretty much one-to-one to what modern happiness research and positive psychology people are telling people to do in order to raise their mood.
Okay, so those would
go through them real quick. So those would be expressing gratitude, being part of a community, doing nice things for other people, contributing to causes that you believe in or to people who need it. Okay, just to back up, so for people who don't celebrate Purim, you have to get together in a whole community and you have to read the story of the book of Esther.
Once at night, once in the day.
Once a night, once in a day. And this is, okay, and here's something, is that it's actually not just sitting and listening, there's very active participation, because the tradition has developed of trying to make a lot of noise to drown out the name of the bad guy. And so people are just kind of sitting and listening happily, and then all of a sudden everyone's stamping on the floor or shaking their little noisemaker. And so you get this physical, it's people doing something physical together all on the same cue has a huge effect on mood.
Yes. I was reading that research recently. I came across it and I was just like blown away by that. Exercise classes.
Yeah.
Can perform a very similar function.
There's an entire book. I will find the name somewhere and put it in the show notes. There's a book all about motivating people to exercise. And she says at some point, if you can take anything that doesn't currently have a doing it together with people aspect and add that in, you can make $1 million. He's like, if you want to invent Pilates or like, what was it, Soul Cycle, right? It's like, we're all fake bicycling, but we're doing it together to the same beat of the music. Okay, so that physical motion on a cue as a community aspect.
If you're expecting decorum in a synagogue on Purim, you are
not
in
the
wrong place. Wow, no.
Yeah.
I mean, as a general rule, it's,
Someone brought a water gun 2 years ago, like right before. Yeah,
cool.
no. Someone older than me, and I made her put it down.
Yeah. 1 year when I was a kid, I counted the number of times Haman's name appeared in the Megillah. I blew up that many balloons plus a few extra, and I came to synagogue with a pin and then 2 garbage bags filled with balloons.
All right, so there's creativity, novelty, trying new things. We dress up, which is like we were talking about, taking ourselves out of our normal mindset and experimenting with something new. We do, and most people that I know try and do a different costume every year, although I have my emergency backup little unicorn headband.
I had my multicolored wig, but I think I decluttered it. So, I've got my Miss Frizzle outfit.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. No, that's great. But so there's novelty, there's creativity. We have to all eat together.
Right.
And we have to give other people food.
Yes. Which is separate, although it could be combined.
And we have to give charity. And I think that's it.
Well, there's Machatzit shekel, but that's kind of.
Well, that's also a contribution. But no, but there's getting drunk.
Oh yeah. Right. Which is not necessarily as mandatory as some people like to make it.
But no, but it's tradition that people are supposed to get drunk, or my dad was very happy with finding this, fall asleep.
Yes, that's
because they both take you out of your normal consciousness.
Yes.
And you're supposed to but you are supposed to enter a state of altered consciousness such that you can no longer keep track of all the details of the story that you just had read to you twice. Because Judaism is normally not very in favor of getting drunk, but once a year, it's like you've got to switch your mindset up somehow, and we're going to give you every single tool in the toolkit to try and do it.
Yes. Why the importance, though?
Why the importance of?
Yes. Why do we need to make ourselves happier? Isn't like my basic amount of my level happiness, right? So we know about all this research, right? That whatever happiness you aspire, like whatever happens to you, you win the lottery, something amazing happens to you, you're always going to go back to like your baseline happiness. And in converse, a tragedy happens to you, then you have the ability to bounce back up to your baseline of happiness.
but you
Can that actually be adjusted?
Yeah, you can, to a certain extent, alter your baseline of happiness. Not, they say it's more genetic than anything else, but anything else is,
Oh boy.
that leaves like 49% that you can play with.
Okay.
And that also doesn't necessarily mean that we can't make ourselves happy. Like, the holidays aren't necessarily about making ourselves happier forever, right? We have happy holidays and we have sad holidays. And we have days when we're not supposed to be happy, but we're supposed to be, but we're training ourselves in how to alter our own mood in order to fit the situation. And I will tell you why that's important. There's another whole book about this that I will find in my library, what it's called. Something to do with productivity, positive productivity. That's not it. I'll find it.
Leave it in the show notes.
Yeah, but so the different frames of mind that we find ourselves in, happy, scared, sad, they cause us to focus on different things in life. Okay. And if you've ever seen the gorilla experiment, if you haven't, stop now. And
oh my gosh. Oh yes. Can we ruin it? We shouldn't ruin it. Just stop, pause.
Stop now. Do not watch more. Yeah, because if you've been told about it before you experience it.
Right. Just put us on pause. We'll be here when you get back. Go.
You're not going anywhere.
It is mind-blowing.
Okay. I'm assuming that if you needed to go do that you have unpaused and come back now. And we're going to continue. So,
did you see the gorilla? I didn't see the gorilla.
I didn't see the gorilla either. There is an entire gorilla that I missed. And a lot of people take this as, oh my God, our brains are so dumb, we missed a gorilla. But let's rephrase that as, our brains are so sophisticated that if we give them a task, they are going to follow that task.
Yes.
Right? To the exclusion of everything else, assuming that we feel safe and secure and we know that someone else is on gorilla duty.
One of my kids did see the gorilla on first watching. I'm still amazed.
No, a not insignificant number of people do, because like, it's a whole freaking gorilla.
I didn't see the gorilla.
Right. So, but the thing
of course, I'm also the person who did an entire load of laundry without realizing it. So, you know,
I might have been asleep. You have 4 kids. Laundry. My dad once tried to make himself a cup of coffee while he was asleep. He made a cup of coffee, which,
that's dangerous.
Yeah, well, we found out about, because what he did was he took the electric kettle, filled it with water, put it on the stove, and then turned on the flame.
Right, as I said, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was like two different auto coffee making habits merged.
Wow.
He was fine. The kitchen survived. The kettle didn't.
No, but the smell of burning plastic must have been in the air for a month afterward.
Yeah, I didn't go visit that weekend, but I don't know if it was because of that. But anyway, so our brains can do incredibly sophisticated things without our actually paying attention.
Right.
But we can use our attention to focus on things. And so if we tell our brains to find red things, or to find a certain brand of car that we're considering buying. Do cars come in brands? What do cars come in?
They do. I'm the wrong person. Make, model.
There you go.
I'm so proud of myself. That's like the sum total of my car knowledge. Also, where to take it if it starts to make funny noises. I also know that.
Okay, that's an important one.
Yes.
There's a name for it, which I'm currently blanking on, but I think everyone has experienced the, oh my God, I just learned a new fact, and now I'm hearing about it everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
And that's because our brain is choosing to focus. Okay, so when we're happy, when we're in a positive mood, we are focused on finding opportunities. And when we are in a negative mood, we are focused on avoiding danger.
Right.
And these are 2 very different life strategies.
And both absolutely necessary.
Absolutely necessary. And we need to use them at different times. And a lot of problems can be caused by people getting stuck in one, right? If you get depressed, if you're always in a negative mood, or if you have, what do people call it, shiny object syndrome. Oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, because they get stuck in finding the opportunities and
never following through. Right.
And so the ability to shift from mindset to mindset to mindset in order to be in the correct mindset for the situation that I'm in, is hugely important. It's a hugely important survival strategy. And it's important in terms of our ability to connect to other people, right?
Yes.
Because if everyone is currently reading the news about Europe, and I come in and I'm like, I have the greatest coaching call. You're not gonna, right?
No, you're not gonna connect there.
Right. Or
Right.
if everyone else is like, oh my God, we landed the new contract. And I'm trying raining on everyone's parade, like, oh, we're gonna have to work overtime. Yeah. If you can meet people where they're at and then bring up your concerns or share your like, but meet them where they are first, you connect to people a lot better.
I think that's something that's really, really important to point out is that while we're here talking about the positive mindset, what we just said is that the negative fear-based mindset is really valuable.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that a lot of people in the mindset world want to run away from. They want to run away from fear. They want to run away from pain. They want to run away from difficulty. And what we're saying is actually something very, very different, which is that all of those things have a place in real life, and all of those difficulties have a place in real life. And having a fear mindset under the right circumstances is going to keep you alive. So hold on to it. This is not something you want to let go of. But at the same time, we live in the Western world where we live in a world of unprecedented abundance. And the fear mindset isn't really always particularly relevant, where the abundance mindset makes much, much more sense. But not to necessarily try to overcome the scarcity mindset, but rather put it in its place, just keep it where it belongs.
Yeah, well, I was listening to Mayim Bialik's podcast. I don't remember which episode. It was a while ago, and she was talking about how she was genetically predispositioned to have a negative mindset because she's descended from people who, the minute things got bad, picked up and left Europe.
Yeah, I have the same ancestry as her,
me too.
more or less.
Me too. Every single, not on the Jewish side, but every single one of my great grandparents.
Thought it was a good idea to leave.
Get out of Europe before World War One.
Wow.
My entire family missed World War One, like my direct ancestors, obviously.
Okay,
the ones who didn't leave.
Yeah, I may have mentioned I was born in Soviet Russia. We got out of Europe. Us.
Yeah.
We were the ones. So me specifically, right?
Yeah. No. Well, my on the Russian side, like my grandmother's uncle was sent to Siberia, escaped from Siberia, made it to the States, and then he started bringing over his brothers until the curtain came down.
Right.
And so yeah, a lot of people didn't make it out. But.
So we got comfortable because that's what my family does. Is we get comfortable until it gets until.
Oh, you could have used a slightly greater sensitivity to negative emotion.
Yeah, that's what it looks like there. On the one hand,
here comes MJ.
Oh, there we go. I feel much, much better. Oh, it turned out, by the way, just for the record, Pepper was lying to me. She had already been fed dinner.
Oh, have you seen?
She'd try her luck with me, try to tell me that she hadn't eaten yet.
Have you seen that photo of the cat with the little like sign tied around its neck? It says, "I'm lying. I had breakfast before your husband left for work."
Yes, so Pepper tried her luck with me, just tried to convince me that she hadn't had dinner. So yeah, not cool, Pooch, not cool. No. Okay, right. So we were sorry about that little detour. Just
okay. It wasn't more off. Yeah.
Yeah, her survival is not necessarily being as honest as strictly necessary. Right. Yeah. So my family is a little bit less. But yeah, leaving Europe, that's very, very much part of my story there. But something that's really, really interesting is that I don't know if our listeners know that the Soviet Union was terrible if you were Jewish. There was
I think it was terrible for most people too, but
no, it was terrible. Okay, just for the record, it was terrible for everyone. And the people who are nostalgic about it they're nostalgic about the bits and pieces that they were able to, there's like a shiny, like a shiny memory syndrome. Is that a thing? Like when you look back on, What? Nostalgia. Right. There is nostalgia, but that doesn't mean that they actually want to go back to the way it was. It was just basically rampant poverty, um, and depression. I mean, like the best way I can describe the Russian mindset is by explaining the game. The national game is called Durak. First of all, it's only played with a partial deck of cards. You don't even get the whole deck.
My sister was taught how to play this in the army. She still never explained it to me successfully.
Right. Step one, you don't get the whole deck. No one does. Step two, your goal is to not lose. You can't win a game of Durak. All you can do is not lose. And third, it's all in the name. The name means idiot. When you do lose, that's what you are. You're the Durak. This is the entire, this is like cultural mindset in a nutshell, is very, very, very much. Now, we were actually the lowest, basically the lowest caste possible in this were the Jews, of course, because Jews in Europe have that particular history. And so there was just much less opportunity if you had a Jewish last name, or the fact is you didn't actually need a Jewish last name, because you can take a look at my birth certificate is a history lesson where you can open it up and you can see that my nationality says Jew. So, that's what it was. And I'm not even going to say that they were wrong, because, Judaism predates religion and nationality as identities. We're so much older than those things that neither of them encompass who we are. But we'll put that aside for a moment. And the way that Russian Jews specifically coped with the incredible anti-Semitism was through laughter and through jokes and through, oh my goodness, just through cleverness.
Oh, I learned a new Rabinovich joke. last week.
Yes, go
okay,
for
so
it.
you probably know this one. Okay, so Rabinovich has been picked up by the KGB and is being interrogated. And, and they ask him, where were you born? And he says, St. Petersburg. And they say, where do you go to school? He says, Petrograd. They say, where do you live? Where do you live? In Leningrad. And then he gets right up in his face and says, and where do you want to die?
Leningrad.
So the version I heard was St. Petersburg. It was
St. Petersburg. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, we just lost everyone there.
Yeah, we did.
If you have no Russian Jewish.
Right, but that's less of a Rabinovich joke and more of a, it's like the current argument over how to pronounce Kiev.
Yeah.
And someone did correct my pronunciation of Kiev. Thank you so much. Yes, you were waiting for it.
I was waiting for it. I knew someone was going to pronounce, and
because she learned how on TikTok.
Good. Did you tell her you were born there?
What? Yes. After I told her she was born there, she still proceeded. No. I didn't mean Kyiv. I meant I was like, it's just like you're still trying to correct my pronunciation. 30% of Ukraine speaks Russian as their native language. Kiev is fine. But no.
I also remember that the other week it was last week. Yeah, someone brought it up, and I was like, by the way, Malkie's Ukrainian. She doesn't feel like talking about it right now because you told me you didn't feel like talking about it. And then the conversation just kept going.
It's inevitable. I mean, it's just, like there's a global tragedy happening, but the best way to describe it is a localized global tragedy. Yeah. So we're all involved, whether we want to be or not.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But well, may these be days of light and joy and gladness and honor.
Yeah. Which is really a contrast. We're going to be celebrating Purim in the middle of this. And, I think that that's also a really, really important thing, something that I learned during one of the wars that I lived through here in Israel, was that anybody whose life stays normal needs to maintain their normal life as best as they possibly can to show the people whose life has become abnormal what it looks like. Like, this is part of me. I'll have to admit, part of me was angry. Like, how can you go on with your normal life? And I stopped and I looked at it again. I went, oh, you continue your normal life so that when I get to do it again, I'll know how. I'll get to see it. Like, if you're modeling normal life for me, just keep doing it, right? So there is an element of that there's
Yeah, I saw someone shared something on Facebook. It started it's something like, it feels so stupid to be washing my face before bed when there's a global disaster, but not washing my face wouldn't help anyone.
No, it
Like,
won't.
it would just bring down, the overall quality of life of all of humanity by
Right.
a tiny little bit.
Also, there is no Ukrainian woman I know who would feel good about you not washing your face. Wash your face with the proper soap and then moisturize.
Okay, but is the proper soap, like, one of my patients told me that all skin problems can be solved by using that gray bar soap that's like shampoo, soap, laundry detergent, dish soap that she grew up with.
So proper soap is very
I know you have.
Yeah, do we really want to go here? Because I use like
okay, yeah, this is already my longest podcast ever. And
okay.
Well, we can get back together sometime and you can tell us all
about my low pH Hamish brand soap that is fantastic that I get from iHerb when it's in stock. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I don't know if we came to any conclusion about anything.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't the goal.
No, I had a great time, and I think it was I have completely blanked on the word in English. I think that
fun.
a lot of teachable moments happened here and there, sprinkled throughout.
Yes. Yeah. So everybody enjoy the upcoming holiday. And even if you don't have this holiday coming up, connect to the spirit of celebration. Maybe invite some family over if that's a possibility, or bring your neighbor some cookies if that's a possibility, because the ideals of the holiday, the actionable steps, they're true for everybody.
Absolutely, as demonstrated by researchers in Harvard. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Like, subscribe, etc., etc. There's going to be a more normal video up next week, so check back. And
at some point, we should really tell people more about what we do together.
Yes, at some point. We've just hit an hour.
Okay. Oh wow, really? No way.
Yes, but okay, you can go to my website. You can go to my website, and there's a button called Ready or Not, and if you click on that, you will see what Malkie and I do together, whether you're ready for it or not.
Yeah, and you can also follow me at Malkie, _Ramon at Instagram.
Yes, I will put that in the show notes. That's what I'll do. I'll put that in the show notes and the link to the page on the website, and then people can just scroll down and find everything that we've been talking about.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much, Pam. It was a pleasure to be here.
Great. It's great having you. Okay, and happy holiday.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.